In this day and age, human medical experimentation is tightly regulated. Researchers must adhere to strict ethical guidelines in order to ensure the safety of their subjects. However, medical research didn't always look like this. From using human subjects to explore biochemical warfare in Imperial Japan to the illegal mind control program of the CIA, there have been times where the facade of medicine has been used as a method of torture. So, how did the current system come to exist, and what implications do these ethical guidelines have on future research? Let's explore in the evolution of medical research ethics. Our journey begins in 5th century Greece with the famous father of Western medicine, Hippocrates. Hippocrates is believed to have written the Hippocratic Oath. In this oath, one must swear to always act ethically in the best interest of the patient. This is also where the famous phrase, "first do no harm," originates. Though practicing medicine and medical research had an ethical start, it did not stay that way. Let's fast forward to 1932. 1932 was the beginning of the infamous Tuskegee syphilis experiment. In this study, researchers at Tuskegee Institute in the United States examined the natural course of untreated syphilis in hundreds of African American men. The men were unaware that they had the disease. Penicillin, the drug that cures syphilis, was denied to the subjects even after it was made available to the public. This study highlights the issue of informed consent. It is not hard to imagine that if the men had known what the study actually was, they would not have consented. This experiment claimed the lives of over 100 African American men. It would not conclude until 1972, when the study was revealed to the horror of the American people. With this, let's head over to the 1940s. The 1940s saw unethical research performed all over the world, most notably in Nazi Germany. Nazi human experimentation was a series of medical experiments on large numbers of prisoners in concentration camps. The so-called Nazi doctors forced these prisoners, including children, to undergo numerous gruesome experiments without anesthesia. These experiments included exposure to mustard gas, malaria, vivisections, incendiary bomb experiments, and much more. While this was undoubtedly a low point in medical research, it was also a catalyst for transformation. After the conclusion of World War II came the Nuremberg trials, specifically the Doctors' Trial. The Doctors' Trial was the first of 12 trials for war crimes that the United States authorities held in their occupation zone in Nuremberg, Germany. 23 Nazi doctors were tried for the medical atrocities they committed. The typical argument from the defendants was that their experiments differed little from pre-war ones and that there was no law that differentiated between legal and illegal experiments. As such, the Nuremberg Code was created in 1946 as a set of research ethics principles for human experimentation. Some principles include informed consent and absence of coercion, properly formulated scientific experimentation, and beneficence towards the experimental participants. Then, in 1948, came the Declaration of Geneva from the World Medical Association. This declaration acts as a revision of the Hippocratic Oath, reinforcing the humanitarian goals physicians should have in a modern way. However, even with the code and declaration, unethical medical research persisted as there were no actual laws in place. In 1951, a poor black tobacco worker living in Baltimore named Henrietta Lacks was diagnosed with cervical cancer. She passed away within a year. Without her consent, a doctor named George Gay took her cancerous cells to create the first immortal human cell line in history, called HeLa. Not only did this give birth to a multi-million-dollar cell industry, but also resulted in a boon of medical advancement. Without these cells, there wouldn't be things like a polio vaccine, treatments for diseases like leukemia, or in vitro fertilization. Unfortunately, the Lacks family lived in poverty and would not know about HeLa until over 20 years later. Yet, HeLa cells played an integral role in yet another turning point of medical ethics. In 1953, a virologist named Chester Southam wondered if HeLa cells, being cancerous, could infect the scientists working on them. For 8 years, he injected patients in institutions across the United States with HeLa cells without their consent. When this was discovered, society was shocked by the power researchers seemed to have over their subjects. After this, federal regulations on research began, as did the development of ethics review boards. These boards are now in place to assure an independent determination of the rights and welfare of subjects and to assess the risks and potential benefits of a study. There is no doubt that without these unethical experiments, we would not have the advanced medical knowledge that exists today. Some people actually believe that ethics slows down research, as researchers have less reign over their subjects. In reality, ethics truly does make research better. Not only is the risk to subjects minimized, the scrutiny experiments go through helps to catch experimental errors before they occur. And besides, to quote the words of Dr. Michael Berman of Brock University, is there really medical advancement without ethics? Medicine is about helping people. If you have no ethics, you are simply acting without regard to human safety, and you have no medical advancement. Medicine cannot exist without ethics.